in a row. This evening, two more fantastic games to look forward to. Greece go up against Poland, a straight shootout for a place in the final phase. And Istanbul, before the Nordic derby, brings the house down here as Finland beat Iceland for the first time in EuroBasket history. So here's the maths made simple on the final game day. Any win for Slovenia will keep them in top spot, as will defeat by 2 points or less. If France win by 3 or more points, they will finish in first place in Group A. Slovenia against France to kick things off on the final game day here in Helsinki. Mark Mills is alongside me in the commentary box. And Mark, what a day we have in store at EuroBasket 2017.
Yeah, it's a great way to finish off EuroBasket here in Helsinki. The battle for first place in Group A. Slovenia must be favourites entering the game as they've been unbeaten so far. Whilst France, they do only have one record. They've lost so far in Helsinki. Slovenia have been impressive throughout the group stage, whilst France have shown what they can do, but have been a little bit inconsistent. Coach Kalewal hoping they find their consistency today.
You mentioned that France have gone 3 wins in a row now, and Les Bleus starting to hit their straps at just the right time.
Yeah, I think so. France survived a big scare yesterday against Poland. It took them over 30 minutes to take their first lead of the game, and at times they did look rattled. However, they do look like they're creating some form to contend for the medals in Istanbul, but if they are, they're going to have to lose the Jekyll and Hyde act, and we'll have to find the full-flowing France. Slovenia will be a tough challenge for them today. However, a French win would be a huge confidence booster for them going into the knockout stages. Yeah, but it's perhaps a litmus test for France today, just to see how far they will be able to go in this competition. A few scrappy wins. They were excellent against Iceland, put them to the sword. And here's the team that they are up against today, and they have been the team to watch so far in Group A. A perfect 4-0 record at EuroBasket 2017. Do you see Slovenia taking that 100% winning record to Istanbul? Yeah, I think they can. Slovenia so far steamrolled Group A, sit with that perfect 4-0 record. They'll be determined to finish Helsinki in style and claim that top spot. Not going to be easy though. A French team who've shown real class at times in this group are their contestants today. Today it'll be their biggest test, but if they can pass it, it's tough to deny them that they're looking good for a medal position. That said, either way, it's going to be a big 40 minutes of action. It most certainly is, and we're not far away from those 40 minutes getting underway. But first of all, it is time for the national anthems.
First is the national anthem of France. Now the national anthem of Slovenia.
perfectly sets the scene here in Helsinki. Big stars on both sides. Through the customary pre-match handshakes and high fives. Here are our officials this afternoon. Antonio Conde from Spain, Takaki Kato from Japan, and Martins Kozlovskis from Latvia. Well, let's take a look at the French roster. First of all, Nando De Colo there, Evan Fournier and Geoffrey Lauvergne. They have taken the plaudits in the early stages of EuroBasket 2017. But in their win over Poland yesterday, it was all about their point guard, Thomas Hurtel. The creative hub of this French team, Mark.
Yeah, Hurtel had an absolute standout game, and it was about time, to be completely honest with you. He's had a bit of a stuttering start to EuroBasket, but 23 points, 4 boards and 6 assists against Poland really did announce him into the tournament. Outside of that, the front court struggled yesterday. Not their usual dominant self. Fournier, De Colo didn't find form, and that caused the French issues on the offensive end.
Here's their starting five. It's the same one that played Poland yesterday. Hurtel, De Colo, Fournier, Diao and Lauvergne. And they got off to such a slow start yesterday, Mark. They didn't score for the first 5 minutes of the game. Now, how important is it they hit the ground running against this Slovenia team?
Well, if it's difficult against Poland, it would be absolutely impossible against Slovenia. You give up 5 minutes of the game without scoring, you're going to be in a big hole before you even start. And again, Lauvergne, I think, has a big part to play today for France in this game.
The Slovenian team is littered with talent left, right and centre. We've mentioned Anthony Randolph, that he brings something different to this team. He's leading the boards for Slovenia alongside Luka Doncic. And, well, you've enjoyed Klemen Prepelic's performances so far. Yeah,
Prepelic has been outstanding. He goes under the radar. He's obviously not the big star of Dragic and Doncic, but he's had a big performance, as did Blažić in the last game against Iceland. He scored 15 points. And I think this is where the strength of the Slovenian team comes from, that no matter who they rotate into the game, they're constantly bringing in offensive threats and guys that work really hard on the defensive end. And that's going to be the key. But the two spotlight players, no real surprise to the Slovenian side of things. Dragic, supreme, 31 years old, going into his last ever EuroBasket. He's going out with a bang, 25 points per game and 4.3 assists per game. Leading scorer in EuroBasket. And De Colo, the French heart, one of 2 French players in their 30s and in his 5th EuroBasket.
Vincent Collet, the coach of France, looking to mastermind another podium finish at a EuroBasket. And Slovenia's Igor Kokoškov. So far, well drilled. He's got this Slovenia team. Former head coach at Georgia, apparently, Kokoškov, so he might actually end up facing his former team. We'll try to work out the ramifications for you as the game goes on. This game is going on alongside another game in Group B that will also determine the top of those standings between Germany and Lithuania. And our focus will by and large remain here in Helsinki. Gaspar Vidmar and Geoffrey Lauvergne, 2 man mountains, are going to contest the opening tip. Welcome along then to the Helsinki Arena in Finland. It's France against Slovenia. It's EuroBasket 2017. It's the final game day in Group A, and plenty to play for here with the top spot on the line. De Colo in possession, out to Boris Diaw for 3. And France get the rebound. De Colo palming it out to Hurtel. Slow starters, remember, yesterday against Poland. Looking for a quick start. It's Lauvergne for the triple.
Leaves it short. Doncic with the rebound, and Slovenia will come to the front court through Doncic and Dragic.
That's not the shot they want to create through their offense. Laverne on the three. They want to get easier scores or have the ball in the hands of a three-point shooter.
Yeah, Diao and Laverne taking the three-point shots. Bit of a surprise there. It's Doncic for three. Urtel onto the loose ball immediately. That's what he was doing so well yesterday. DeColo puts up a jump shot, two, and France are off and running in the first minute this time.
Yeah, there'll be a sigh of relief from both the French players and coaching staff that they've got things going an awful lot earlier than they did yesterday. Poor defensive recovery by Doncic, enabling that one.
Here's Goran Dragic. Step back three, good! Well, it's dangerous for France if Dragic gets going.
Yeah, they'll be happy that he's got going as well. Big score expected from Dragic today.
The first two scores perhaps going for the most important players, but here's Fournier, another vital part of this French team. Dragic brings it forward. And then switches to Doncic from the perimeter. Drains another three.
Early warning signs for the French side. Uncontested shot there from Doncic for three. And an early lead for Slovenia will be worrying.
Yeah, just left wide open. Luka Doncic doesn't need a second invitation to shoot from range. DeColo, long two attempted, and he knocks it down.
Yeah, didn't have a big game yesterday, particularly for DeColo, but finding his form early.
This shouldn't surprise us that we're getting a lot few early scores in. France are the highest scorers in EuroBasket 2017, and Slovenia are not too far behind them. Doncic. France averaging over 93 points per game. And Slovenia racked up a ton against Iceland yesterday.
Yeah, all in all, it's been a very high-scoring group in Helsinki. And that's not for the lack of defence.
Fournier gets fouled in the process of going up to the rack. And Vincent Collet likes it.
Turns a corner well, Blažič just pushes his body onto him, easy call for the officials. Fournier will be keen to get started early as well. And a nice way to get started can often be from the free throw line.
First foul of the afternoon. Fournier, one of the better free throw shooters, averaging 80% coming into the game. And he makes both shots to level up the scores early on. Doncic here to Dragic, who's surrounded by Urtel. And Dragic has it nicked from him by Evan Fournier. Goes coast to coast. Fournier puts it up and in. And that'll be a real confidence boost for France.
Yeah, it's great defense by France. Just doubling up on the penetration and getting the steal.
Vidmar into the hands of Jaka Blažič. Gets up to the basket, puts it up and in off the glass.
Vidmar's been so important to Slovenian offense. So many assists from the big man out of the post.
Fournier out to Geoffrey Laverne and out Urtel. Fournier from the corner. Drains the three. France open their account from range. Now Dragic. Real quick fire start to this game, and Dragic makes it look so simple. Averaging 25 points per game, Goran Dragic, as Laverne puts it in, nothing but net.
It's almost the mirror opposite start that France had yesterday. Struggled to score in the first 5 minutes, and they can't stop scoring in the first 5 minutes here.
Doncic into Vidmar, and that's neat work at the low post from the big man. Yeah, there are lots of permutations, but seemed to me like both coaches weren't going to worry too much about them and concentrate on just trying to win the game in hand. And DeColo leaves it just a little short. Bringing those permutations in a moment. Here's Goran Dragic for three. Just left that one short. Diao tries to pick up the rebound. Blažič with a good hustle. Vidmar comes away with it. Dragic to Doncic. Now out to Jaka Blažič. Wide open three. Laverne tries to cover. Can't do so in time. 3 points for Blažič.
Feels like we're in for an absolutely electrifying game again. Like you say, players and coaches aren't looking at the permutations, they're looking at going out and winning a basketball game. Momentum and confidence is so much more important to them than who they face in the next round.
Both these teams are on a roll. I remind you, as Fournier misses the shot on this occasion. France have won their last 3. Oh, Doncic with some beautiful work in the lane.
Confident move by Doncic. He knows he's got the bettering of Diaw on the foot speed. Diaw doesn't really offer up any defence, just turns his back into him. Laverne picks up the foul.
Doncic to add the extra from the line, and Slovenia for a 5-point lead, but he misses. Almost gets the rebound. Laverne and Diaw combine to swallow up the loose ball. Urchel driving inside, back out to Diaw. Out under the post is Nando De Colo, and he misses a simple shot. And Blasic comes away with it for Slovenia. Goes coast to coast and rims out with the layup. Finally a chance to catch our breath. Reminder that if Slovenia win or lose by 2 points or fewer, they will top the group. France need a win by more than 3 to lead the standings. Urchel back out. Laverne for 3. Not afraid to take a 3-point shot on Laverne, but hasn't had any luck so far from his first 2 attempts.
No, it's an important part of a big man's repertoire now, being able to step out and shoot from distance. But here we see Dragic makes this mistake, but he gets a get-out-of-jail-free card as Laverne puts his hand onto it before it goes out of bounds.
Has actually been averaging 50% from the perimeter in this competition, but none from 2 so far, and he takes a seat on the bench and is replaced by Kevin Serafin. Dragic in the meantime to Doncic, takes aim and fires it down.
And that's the confidence of a shooter. You see, even though he's being approached very quickly by the defensive recovery of De Colo, his shot form just doesn't change. Doncic up to 8 early on.
Here is big Boris Diaw, the hook, and makes it. France trying to stay in touch here. Slovenia, though, are shooting 73% from the field. Muric to Luka Doncic. Doncic from way downtown. This one he can't get to go, and Serafin helps him its way around the corner to Fournier. Diaw to Fournier. Fournier up to the rack and doesn't get it to go. One back though. Good work by De Colo. Diaw to Fournier. And Boris Diaw will bide his time. Shot clock has got plenty left on it. As, a foul is called on Goran Dragic.
What a pace this game is being played at. It's going to be interesting to see how long this pace lasts for. We're obviously on the back of a back-to-back. We're on the second leg of the back-to-back days. Legs will start getting tired because both teams at the moment are looking for the transition basket. That really is their first option. Get out and score quick.
Yeah, Slovenia that have done well on the fast break, particularly in the competition, averaging more than 13 points on the fast break. Here's Westerman, who's just come into the action for France. Anthony Randolph and Clement Prepelic in for Slovenia. Lively little turn, right-hand hook from Serafin. Gets his account off and running.
Yeah, Serafin has grown into his role in the French national team, and that little short-range hook shot has worked well.
Dragic. Oh, nice finish. 7 points Dragic, 8 points Doncic. De Colo fires one out. Diaw for 3. This time he makes it. Two-point game. Dragic now just inside, according to the officials. So it'll just be.
That's a really smart play by Dragic. Westerman's arguing the point, but it's just a bright play. He can feel the hand of Westerman all over him, so he knows if he goes into shooting form that it kind of raises the levels, and the officials are going to call it. Can't put his hand on him. He's okay to armbar him. He's okay to push him away with the armbar. As soon as he puts his hand on him, Dragic is smart enough to know that if he makes a little bit more contact and goes into shooting form, officials will call it.
So 2 trips to the line instead of 3. No problem with the first for Dragic. Another player averaging in the high 80s from the charity stripe. You can tell these are winning teams, really. They're playing with a certain swagger of confidence. As Nando De Colo takes up possession, uses the block from Serafat. Now back out. Diao didn't want that too high. Finds Westerman coming up the baseline, and Westerman gets out of trouble and beaten away by Ziga Dimets. Dragic, right pass. Randolph couldn't quite collect it in his stride. Goes back out to the point guard. Dragic shrugging off Westerman, puts up a jumper. Rims out. Serafan with the rebound. And De Colo now firing up the front court and was fouled by Dimets.
I think they're going to have to make a change on the French side. I don't think Westerman quite has the ability to hold on to Dragic. Dragic is just toying with him at the moment. Thankfully for the French, Dragic now going to the bench though.
Bit of respite for France perhaps, but it's Alexei Nikolic coming on, it's not bad. Very much seen as a big part of the future Slovenian team, 22 years of age. There's a lot of young players actually in this Slovenia side.
Yeah, it's a very, very bright future for Slovenia in the basketball world. They just continue to produce outstanding talent through their junior programs in the country. And those players go on to play some of the biggest leagues and the biggest teams in the world.
Diao feeds De Colo, drops it right at the top of the lane, and now it's a turnover for Slovenia to make use of. Although if it's any credit to France, that's actually their first turnover. There was about 8 or 9 in their first quarter yesterday. And it's Poland. They played much, much better today, but they still trail by 4. As Jackson goes out to Diao. Diao bursts into the lane and draws the foul.
Yeah, France are definitely, we talked about it in the build-up, there's the 2 faces of France. The face they showed in the first 5 minutes of the Poland game yesterday, where they weren't protecting the ball and they weren't, you know, confident in what they were doing. And then there's the face we're seeing today, where they're very, very confident, particularly on the offensive end.
They gave themselves a lot to do yesterday, and in the end, they just about got the job done in the 4th quarter. Taking the lead for the first time with 7 minutes to go, and they held on for a tense win. Here's Prepelic getting past Jackson and up to the rack and puts it up and in and 1.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. Prepelic now coming into the game off the bench, and the intensity and the pressure that the French team are under doesn't change. Just a strong move to the basket, draws the contact off Jackson, and uses the glass effectively to get the score.
Once again, Slovenia unable to add the extra. But a 6-point lead in the final minute of the quarter. It's a start that will please Igor Kokoskov. Here's De Colo. Diao for 3. Not having much luck from the perimeter. Serafat back out. Westerman back in. Serafat up against Dimets. Turns, left-hand hook, misses. Randolph for the rebound, and that's what Anthony Randolph is so good at.
Yeah, he's going to help them increase their defensive boards, that's for sure. But great defense by Dimets there, putting enough pressure on Serafan that he's a bit too far away from the ring for his hook shot.
Doncic up against Serafan. And finds a little avenue for a shot, and he puts it up gloriously. Final play of the quarter then. 6 seconds on the clock. Jackson into Diao under the rack, and he puts it up and in, and that ends the corner. Ends the quarter on a high for France, but they do trail by 6. It's Slovenia 28, France 22 after the first 10. So a 6-point game after the first quarter. Some impressive shooting there, Mark, in the first 10 minutes.
It's just been an absolute daze, if I'm completely honest. Just beautiful play from both teams on the offensive end. Slightly lacks defense, but you see that from the percentages. 57% from outside from Slovenia, hitting some big shots. And again, they've got their key guys involved early. Doncic and Dragic combining for 19 of their 28 points. But France aren't going second fiddle today. Fournier stepped up, he's up to 7 points. And Captain Diao putting a shift in for his team, he's on 7 points also. Tough one to call so far. Both teams very confident. And the great thing to see is they're fighting to the final buzzer of the group stages. They want to go to Istanbul as winners of the group, both teams.
And it looks like Group A is going to finish the same way that it started, with some high-octane basketball and some high-scoring games. 50 points in that first quarter is quite something. Surely we can't average that throughout the game, always. We might have 100 plays 100.
Oh, yeah, it could be an unbelievable score. The great thing we've got today is that there's an awful lot of school groups into the arena, and I think they're going to be treated to an absolute show this morning.
Chanchar inbounds. And the second quarter is underway here. Dimets now back out. Prepelic for three. Knocks it down, and it's the ideal start for Slovenia to the second quarter.
Yeah, Prepelic, a good distance shooter, shooting 36% from the tournament so far. He's hit some big threes.
Now Jackson also shooting for three. Randolph swats it away, but it'll remain in French possession on the far side. This gives me a chance to tell you the possible opponents for these, or whoever finishes top of the group anyway. If you finish top of the group, you'll face Italy, Georgia or Ukraine, depending on results elsewhere later on today. Jackson. Now Diao into Serafan, and he finds a way to get it to go.
Diao and Serafan are combining well today. Interesting to see Serafan taking some minutes, what would usually be Lavern's minutes.
Yeah, but he played well yesterday. Spencer Collet deciding to take a bigger look at him. Westerman's already on 3 fouls and he's only been on the court for 4 minutes. So Antoine Dio comes in. Westerman's actually staying on. Randolph, mid-range 2, just left it short. Here is Dio. Very sweet passer of the ball. Jackson at the elbow, puts up a tough shot, misses, but Serafan feeding on scraps.
Yeah, Serafan can be so impactful in the game. He just needs to stay within 3-4 feet of the basket, and he'll come away with some good stats today.
This is Nikolic. Good vision to pick out that pass to Randolph. Now Dimets under the rack. Back out, Nikolic, shot clock down to 2, he's got to use it. Does in stunning fashion. Alexei Nikolic with his first points of the afternoon.
Not just that, the 6th three-pointer for Slovenia. They're shooting 67%. Not all of them have been easy either.
It's outrageous. It's an 8-point game. Jackson. Westerman for 3. Just short. And at the moment, it seems like Slovenia are saving their best performance till last. We didn't really think that would be possible. How well they've played. Chanchar. Nikolic. Long 2. Can't miss. Alexei Nikolic. Vincent Collet and France have called the timeout. And they've got to make some reparations here. They trail by 10 in a game. But if they want to finish top of the group, they have to win by at least 3 points.
What a joy it must be for Coach Kokoskov, though. No matter who you bring off the bench, they're producing offensively.
En attaque, c'est mieux. On a trouvé 2 fois à l'intérieur. On commence à le trouver. En défense, l'avant-dernière possession, on doit être carrément en fermeture. Il tient un contrat en poste bas. On n'a pas besoin de venir et après de se prendre un tir sur un contrat. C'est vraiment qu'on se respecte. Voilà, les mains.
Well, statistically speaking, France are the sharpest shooters in the tournament, for 54% of field goals made. But it's Slovenia that are taking up that mantle so far in the game.
Yeah, such a high efficiency from the Slovenian offense. Interesting point from the French side. They've already grabbed 4 offensive rebounds, though. I think that's really showing the impact that Serefan's having into the game. Someone that stays that close to the offensive glass. Slovenia will need to be aware of that, and they'll need to shore up their own boards, because you know, we've seen it all week. It's a game of swings and of momentum, and as much as Slovenia have a double-digit lead now, France will come back into this game. They will have their time.
So, sad sight for Luka Doncic, applying some ice to his forehead. He's got his jumper on. Doesn't look good for Doncic.
No, interesting. We didn't really see any injury or any contact.
Jasper Vidmar in the game and in the fouls. Here's Edwin Jackson. Oh, it's stolen Chanchar. Brilliant defense from him. He knew that was his strength. It was daylight robbery, pickpocketing. Nikolic. Randolph was free, chooses not to use him outside, instead to Klemen Prepelic. The three-point shooting has been an art so far from Slovenia. They miss one for once. Jackson blocked off by Chanchar. Puts it up against the board. And now to the front court through Randolph.
And that's what Coach Kokoskov was talking about. You know, he sees Chanchar as a huge defensive player of the future.
Randolph for 3. Now Ertel tries the bounce pass into Diao. Diao trying to get up to the basket, and Randolph again with some smart defense. Well, Slovenia have to play a remarkably different way now that Doncic is taken to the bench and may not be coming back on in a hurry.
I think that's the lovely thing, not particularly. They brought Prepelic into Doncic's role. And although Doncic, I think, is probably a higher caliber player, Prepelic still has all the same weapons available to him. The outside shot, the ability to get to the basket, the hustling defense.
Dio for 3. He misses. And smallest player on the court, Alexei Nikolic, gets to the rebound. Nikolic, not this time. Bit of respite from France. It was raining threes before, but the weather has dried up a little. Coach Dragic there, running the show from the sidelines.
Yeah, Chanchar with another big defensive play. The steal off Jackson, and then he doubles up on the stops with a big block against the glass. As predicted, though, the pace of the game is slightly slowing down. The percentages are starting to drop. The transition basket was being slightly slower as the legs start to tire.
Fournier. Maybe mistakes just creeping in a little bit as well. First sight of Louis Laberie.
Yeah, Fournier expected Laberie to roll an awful lot harder towards the basket. Laberie rolled more to look for the mid-range jumper. Hence, Fournier's pass was misplaced.
Randolph. Vidmar gets away from Serafan and leaves Fournier on the floor. That's nice from Gasper Vidmar.
It looked like a guard, but in slow motion. That's what it looked like. Still had the handle. It just looked like it was a few notches down.
Urchel, who is a point guard, out to Laberie. Now Fournier draws the foul from Chanchar. There's been a lot of Kevin Serafan in this game so far, but Geoffrey Lauvergne, who started the game, is back in play now.
Yeah, interestingly enough, both teams running through a 10-man rotation. They're rotating their players quite frequently.
Lauvergne bounce pass, Laberie denied by by Vidmar, but Fournier tries from the perimeter, and he was someone was called for a foul.
So yeah, the officials have called a technical foul onto the Slovenian bench. Obviously comments either coming from Coach Kokoskov or a member of his staff that the officials didn't appreciate. So Fournier will go to the line for the extra shot and France will get possession. That's poor discipline by the Slovenian bench. If you're working so hard as one of the 5 on court, the last thing you need is for more pressure to be piled on top of you.
Fournier's perfect record from the free throw line today continues. Chell. Little jumper, another foul call. Ill-discipline is certainly not something that we've been talking about a lot in this Slovenian team. They've been very well drilled so far.
Yeah, they have Dragic picking up his second foul there, so they'll be hoping that he doesn't pick a third up before the half. Be interesting to see if they try and take him out of the game. Previous experience suggests they won't. But yeah, Slovenians haven't really suffered too heavily from foul trouble. They had problems against Poland, where Vidmar fouled out. That caused them some issues, but outside of that, they've been pretty strict.
Here is Dragic. We will want to be a little bit careful not to pick up a third foul before half-time. Fournier picks up his first for France. Got a timeout called by the Slovenians here, who lead by 9 midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, after that initial burst of just exuberance and energy, the game has settled down now. Both teams stuttering a little bit like when in a fight when they're just feeling kind of prodding each other, seeing where the weaknesses are. But there you see one of the big issues I think for the Slovenians is the rebounding, giving up 6 offensive rebounds to France, giving them the ability to have second chance points. That'll be a concern for Coach Kokoskov. So far, France have only made 5 second chance points, so they've not really capitalised on that advantage. But with the likes of Laverne, Serafin and Diao grabbing the boards and Laborie, that's soon to change.
Well, we've got a 9-point game here in Helsinki. It was also a 9-point game, or it was a 9-point game a moment ago. It's just gone into a 6-point game in Tel Aviv between Germany and Lithuania. It's in Group B, which does affect things in Group A. Top place in Group A facing 4th in Group B, and vice versa. Lithuania, if things stay as they are, will finish top of their group. And that would land at Germany's 2nd place.
Yeah, whoever finished top of that group will be of interest to the winners of our next game. So Poland and Greece no doubt will have half an eye on that game.
Jančar to inbound for Slovenia. Dragic up the baseline. Vidmar finds little pockets of space in the lane that don't seem on and puts it up and in.
It'd be great to get a statistic of the best 2-man combination in the tournament so far. I think Dragic and Vidmar would be up there with the best of them.
Chell. Doncic back in play here. He's obviously recovered from whatever was the matter earlier. Jančar for 3. Looks good, just left it a little shy. That's very good news for Slovenia to have Doncic back in play. He's still their top scorer in this game with 10 points. Not such good news for the French, Mike. Dragic gets it from Randolph. Dragic, and he looked to Vidmar again. Wasn't able to in the end, he was fouled by Laborie.
It's interesting to watch the rotations of both teams. As I said, frequently changing their rosters, moving people around, trying to keep fresh legs. Obviously, both these teams qualify for the knockout phase in Istanbul. They'll get 2 days rest now, so they'll get a travel day tomorrow and then a rest day the following day before they go in their round of 16 matchups. Should be enough to rest the players, but I imagine coaching staff will still be wary of which players are maybe a little bit more fatigued than others.
Dragic has a dead eye from the free throw line. It's important because he draws a lot of fouls, Mark. He's 6th overall in terms of fouls drawn at EuroBasket 2017, averaging almost 7 fouls a game on him.
Yeah, it's the most frustrating thing as a coach. You've got a player that knows how to draw fouls, but he gets to the line and misses. What's the use? So yeah, that combination of drawing fouls and free throw shooting is absolutely critical.
Fournier, fouled by Blažić. Doesn't much like the call from the official. Nice smile from Jaka Blažić.
That's a good call by the official. Fournier's under a huge amount of pressure, but he's on his arm. There's no way Blažić was going to be able to rip the ball out cleanly there.
Urtel. Bounce pass, Laverne picks up a bit of momentum on the runway, but can't get to the rack. Randolph is there for the loose ball, sets up Dragic to Blažić for 3. Oh, what a move. It's a long 2, just inside the perimeter, but what a sweet bit of play that was from Slovenia.
Yeah, they've extended their lead out to 15 now. That's the concern for Coach Collet, hence the timeout. And they seem confident and happy. They're enjoying their basketball. And they're shooting the ball well from across their roster. Blažić there hitting a big shot from the corner.
Slovenia doing very well with points in the paint there.
Yeah, and France not so well. 40% will be a concern. They're obviously getting in close to the basket, but the Slovenian defense is working very, very well. And we talked about the rotations and how the fact that Slovenia continue to bring offensive threats on. They're leading the bench scoring 10-6 against France. Also, no doubt these are things Coach Collet will be discussing, whereas Coach Kokoskov, more of the same. He'll be dealing with the little details now. He doesn't need any wholesale changes.
You've got Alexei Nikolic and Klemen Prepelic coming off the bench. Very sharp shooters, both inside and out. And Slovenia shooting 63% from the field so far overall. France just 35. Just 17% from outside the arc.
Yeah, there's not many teams that will be able to bring a guard off the bench that's averaging 11.3 points per game. Just causes problems for France to match up to in their rotations.
Good atmosphere here at the Helsinki Arena for this critical clash at the top of Group A. Here's Fournier finding Laverne, good pass. Randolph tries to prevent him, but there's a foul called. No, Vidmar wants it for travel.
Yeah, I think that's an optimistic call. It's a good move by Fournier, penetrates, draws the defenders. Then Laverne does exactly the right thing. Just a quick step and an explosion up to the ring, creating the contact with Randolph and getting himself to the line.
Really interesting battles there in the front court. Massive units, Laverne and Randolph, Vidmar and Lapéry.
Yeah, Laverne's had a really up and down EuroBasket so far. Only 3 points today. He's been on the court 7 minutes now. He's not even grabbed a rebound. They won't be happy with that production. There's no way he'll be happy either.
Dragic spins it out to Blažić. And now Doncic sets up Blažić. This one is for 3. This one he misses. Back out. He'll get a second bite at the cherry. And he misses that too. And Laverne swats it into the hands of Urtel. Urtel from the elbow to the low post. Laverne back out. Urtel left. So open. Unbelievable. But he's missed it. Those were the shots he was making yesterday, Tomo Urtel. Randolph now. Good pass and the vision to spot Blažić. Dragic for 3. Finally, Slovenia's range shooting is starting to drop off in success.
Yeah, down to 38% now. The French will be quite happy with that, though, because if they kept up the same rate, the lead would be considerable.
They'll be out of sight. Here's Urtel. No room. Everyone hanging on the left-hand side. Now it moves over to Lapéry on the near side with the shot clock down to its dregs. And Vidmar with another board next to his name. 2:20 left in the quarter. Dragic Puts Laverne on the floor, and Vidmar gets up to the rack and lays it up and in off the glass.
What a great play by Dragic. Ankle breaks Laverne and then gets to the hole for 2.
Fournier into the hands of Nando De Colo. Just remarkable as De Colo had quite a quiet game so far.
Yeah, he certainly has. Fournier also won't be to the level where they'll want it to be. He's maybe on 8 points, but they want him to be more influential than he has been. But yeah, De Colo seems to be very, very quiet as we see Dragic dropping Laverne before he hands it off to his partner in crime, Vidmar. Just reminds you of John Stockton and Karl Malone, the way these two guys play. An absolute great big man, little man combo. But yeah, De Colo will need to get himself going if France are going to come away with a win.
Just get his eye in here at the free throw line.
The goal for France will be surely, and it's an aspirational goal, but maybe get it down to single digits before the half-time break. Really gives them something to fight for coming out in that second half.
They were down by 8 or 9 yesterday against Poland and came back so strongly in the second half. Now Fournier is not happy.
Ridiculous reaction from Fournier. He's got to be careful because he's going to get him thrown. If he carries on, he'll get himself thrown out of the game.
Boris Diaw's doing the right thing and trying to peel him away.
Good captain. To be honest, I understand his frustration. Dragic has worked really hard to claim the foul there. He's worked really, really hard to draw that contact, and he's made an awful lot of it. So I understand Fournier's reaction. It is a foul on Fournier. It's the right call by the official. But Fournier's reaction, smart move by Coach Collet as well, taking him out of the game. He needs to calm down or he's going to get ejected. And I'm not too sure within EuroBasket, it'll be interesting to see what kind of suspension comes after an ejection. And you, in normal play, would receive at least a game suspension. So it might, you know, if he got thrown out of the game, cost him future games.
3 fouls now for Fournier. A little word in the ear of the commissioner.
Dragic will go to the line for 3 shots now, so he'll get 1 for the technical foul against Fournier, and then he'll have his 2 for the regulation foul that Fournier was against him in play. Oh, he isn't. I thought they were in foul trouble. Maybe that's their 5th foul.
Ball's inbounded. Here is Goran Dragic now. With Slovenia looking in a very strong position. Doncic, shot clock down to 5. Goes for it from way outside. Seen him make those shots all week, but not this time. As De Colo propels the pass into Serafan, gets it back, and then it's denied. Good defense from Slovenia, and it's a fast break, and it ends in points from the hands of Edo Muric.
The best French defense then was by Dragic. He almost knocked Muric out of bounds himself, puts his hand up to apologise. Fournier still frustrated on the bench.
Tupan. Called on Diaw. Bit of contact there with Muric.
The importance of the game now starting to get to the players. Interesting to see here. Muric has made an awful lot of that. He's made an absolute meal of that. That's a tough call on Diaw. He's holding him out on an armbar. There might be a slight extension, but Muric is making it look like he's mugged him.
Muric. Prepelic, good looking pass. Vidmar's not been able to quite keep that in place successfully.
That's not the pass Vidmar wants. He doesn't want a pass to run onto. He wants a pass perfectly into his arms, chest high, so he can just take it in his stride for the easy 2.
Echel. Bounce pass into Diao, gets into the lane, draws the foul, gets it a go.
Yeah, good call by official, continuation. Diao was on his way to the basket, he picked his dribble up when the contact was made.
Officials have been busy of late.
Yeah, you have a feeling the way the game's been played, it's only going to get busier for them. Great to see, though, both teams, it means so much, and they both qualified for Istanbul. They've qualified well in the top 3, but it still means so much to them to come away as group winners.
Keeping that momentum going, that winning feeling, which both teams have got into the groove of in the group phase, but there can only be one winner here. At the moment, Slovenia are looking well set as we approach half-time. Doncic into Dragic. Dragic taking on Saravan, shoots for 3, drains it! And that's a 50-point first half for Slovenia. Urchel into the lane, back out to Nando De Colo. Urchel puts it up. And Doncic, an impressive rebound, fires from a mile out. And sees that come back off the board. And that is a very strong first half performance from unbeaten Slovenia. They led by 6 at the end of the first quarter. They've taken that second quarter in double digits. It's Slovenia 52, France 35 at half-time.
Yeah, very impressive performance from Slovenia. Some great shooting from outside. They started well, it tailed off a bit, but they seem to have been finding their form again. Dragic hitting a big 3, and the French struggling from the perimeter, just hitting 2 of their 13 attempts. Rebounding war, the issue you'd have to look at is France are giving up a lot of offensive rebounds to Slovenia, and those second chance points will start to mount up. At the moment, Slovenia have only got 6. But outside of that, a reasonably close contest in the stats, just not on the score.
I mentioned that Slovenia have got the better 3-point record, that 2-point record as well. 81% they're shooting from inside. But he missed 3 shots in the half from inside.
And it's coming from across the board as well. You look down their scorers, and it's such a wide spread of scorers. So at the moment they've got 7 players that have contributed to the scoring tally, whereas the French have only got 6 players, and even then their top scorer's only got 10, who's Boris Diaw. De Colo's only got 6. Fournier's only got 8. Fournier's on 3 fouls. There's a lot of things stacking up against France at the moment.
Well, we'll leave you with highlights of the first 2 quarters, but make sure you don't go too far. We'll bring you the second half in just a few minutes. Slovenia 52, France 35 at the halfway stage. They're playing today, yeah. Oh no, it's whoever wins that draw with Italy finishes third. Yeah.
Okay, I got 2 more. Who's gonna make it one?
We'll have to try and work out. No, in fact, we won't be able to work out who they're playing.
No, doesn't have.
So we don't need to say that yet.
No.
So what's going on over there?
Time for a ball into the crowd.
Okay, 2 more.
A bit giddy.
I need a really loud Slovenia. Okay, last one. Okay, who's gonna make the most noise over here? Let me hear you! I like that side over there.
Ouais, pour le coup, lui, il n'a pas été mauvais, mais là, t'as envie de débriefer juste un mi-temps. Si, Clément, on peut dire que c'est un des seuls bons. Clément, en pied, il peut dire que Séraphin a été un des seuls bons joueurs qui peut lui faire la transition. Non.
What we can say at the end is that France, if Lithuania win that, can't will face Germany.
Yeah, if Lithuania wins that.
Say that.
Yeah.
As long as Finland beat Iceland, yeah. of our first set game, we'd be like, this is definitely the thing. Now we're doing it and top it up.
Yeah, effectively, Slovenia win the top 3 set and stuff.
Well, and they're not friends.
No, I can't see it. I can't see them doing it. If it's the other way around, I said there was a chance.
Yeah. Because it's Slovenia. And more importantly, they're led to be coached, the best coach in the group. Oh, he nodded.
I like him. I like him more when I see him because he's showing more emotion as the group goes on.
He's not sleeping.
Yeah, drinking a lot of coffee and not sleeping very well. Feeling slightly hormonal.
The rest of the year round. I mean, a lot of the people leave race. I know what their role is here.
Always championships going to some sort somewhere. Qualifiers.
This must be brilliant.
Well, welcome back to the Helsinki Arena here in Finland. It's the final game day in Group A at EuroBasket 2017. Scores still to settle. Slovenia looking to top the group, finish with a 5-0 perfect record heading to Istanbul, and they are on course to do it at the moment. They lead by 52-35 at the end of the first half, and essentially they've got a 19-point cushion for top spot as well, because as long as they lose by 2 points or less, they will also top the Group A standings. And Slovenia, Mark, they've pretty much been better in every category in this game so far.
Yeah, they have. You look across the board, they've dominated in so many categories, and just the shooting percentages alone tell you all you really need to know about Slovenia. 81% from 2-point field goals. And then if you look at another category there, 22 points in the paint, what that's telling you is when they're not shooting threes, they're shooting the ball very close to the basket, which is exactly what coaches want you to do. They don't want you shooting the ball just outside the paint. You know, you're either shooting a three or you're shooting right next to the basket. That's the most profitable part of the court for people to shoot from, and Slovenia are executing that perfectly. From the French point of view, their perimeter shooting is non-existent. Yet again, only 2 from 13, 15%. The one shining light that they've got, though, is that they've grabbed 6 offensive rebounds. They've not converted it into second chance points yet. But if they continue to battle away on the boards, and with the likes of Serafin, Laverne, Diao, Laborie, maybe that's their way back into the game. Get the shots up, fight for the offensive rebounds and get them back in. And then on the defensive end, control their defensive boards more. Maybe that's a glimmer of hope.
We've seen a bit of French aggression in that first half. It's interesting because that's what Collet was saying yesterday in his post-game press conference, that he wanted to see more aggression from his French team. Felt that they were slow out of the blocks against Poland. Of course, that was reflected in the score at half-time yesterday. And they do have that experience, at least to call on. From yesterday, they turned around, I think it was about a 10-point deficit at half-time. And now in the second half, they've got to turn around a 17-point deficit.
Yeah, it's a big ask to turn around 17 points. And when you add the fact that it's Slovenia you're trying to turn it around against, it makes it even more difficult. But it is interesting to see some fight and some passion from the French. It's just a matter of channeling it in the right direction. Fournier let it spill over the top a little bit and vented it towards officials, whereas what he needs to do is put it into his boxing out, or, you know, how hard he's chasing down, and that's where they need to channel that.
Can Slovenia walk, or fly to Istanbul rather, with a perfect record from the group phase? They are 20 minutes of basketball away from doing so. They lead by 17 at the end of the first half against a very talented French team. It's an early foul is called on Edo Muric. The Slovenian team is they don't seem to suffer any kind of sense of complacency. They've won 4 in a row, and yet they look as determined and focused as they did in their very first game here. As Urtel finds Lovern under the post, and that's nicely done by Geoffrey Lovern.
That's exactly what they need to do. High percentage scoring, good conversion by Lovern. He'll be happy to have that as well and get his 5th points on the board.
Muric to Doncic, who's just held there by Fournier, who's now up to 4 personal fouls. It's real trouble for Fournier.
Fournier looked across to the bench to see if they were going to make a change. Disappointed to see Tupan jump to his feet and run to the officials' table.
And not the start France wanted to the 3rd quarter. Here's Dragic finding Vidmar. Vidmar has a charge against him from the officials. Use of the elbow.
Interesting to see it here. Maybe he's hooked him round. Yeah, but so slightly, I can understand that. It's a tough call. It's not something they've been really strict and hard on, so I can understand Vidmar a little bit confused.
French supporters have found their voice behind us with the rise of Allez les Bleus. Here's De Colo putting up a little jump shot too, and he gets it to go after a bit of a rattle.
It's an interesting start from the French. If they can get it down into single digits, that will give them another confidence boost. It's all about the little milestones, the little wins.
Doncic with that pass into Goran Dragic. And De Colo was doing a good job there. And made that pass as awkward as possible. Now in transition, here comes Axel Tupan. And he's fouled while taking the shot. And France are gaining a bit of a head of steam here.
Yeah, slight role reversal. Dragic now having quick conversations with the referee, not too happy.
Doncic in a bit of foul trouble himself now, up to 3 fouls.
Exactly what you want from Tupan. Just go to the basket strong. It's always going to favour the offensive player.
Makes the 2nd free throw count to delight some of our younger contingent of fans inside the Helsinki arena. Vidmar determined not to pass to anyone else apart from Dragic there. It's Dragic getting the foul. Get the ball to roll for it. And he will get tripped to the line.
That's the thing you'll find with the good teams. They'll go back to what they know. So Slovenia haven't had the start of the 2nd half they wanted. So what do they go back to? They go to the high pick and roll game with Dragic and Vidmar. Something they're confident doing. Everyone on the team knows how it's going to go. Everyone on the team knows where they need to space out to. And sometimes you just have to go back to it, grind it out, get the score, and get yourself flowing again.
Dragic with his first missed free throw of the day. Slovenia on the board in this 2nd half after hitting an impressive 52 in the first. Urtel is inside out, Diao. Now Nando De Colo. De Colo from the top of the mountain. Vidmar now up to 3 fouls as well, so that's another key player. We'll have to be a little bit careful here for Slovenia.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest foul trouble in the game, with Vidmar moving to 3.
Urtel Tupin. Bertel comes dancing inside, back out to Decolo from the corner. And just hits the iron. Doncic, bounce pass. Blazic couldn't take it into his stride. Back out, Muric. Evades Diao. And looked to throw possession away whilst fouling Decolo.
Yeah, good stand by Decolo. He read exactly what Muric was going to do. Got his feet positioned and took the charge.
Third Slovenian up to 3 fouls in this third quarter. Already with 5 team fouls since half-time in the space of 2 minutes. Decolo evades Muric, and here's Decolo up the baseline, puts it up and in from right underneath.
Yeah, strong move, great vision by Diao. And Decolo gets up to double digits now. France are starting to find some form.
Decolo with that quiet first half, and stepping up to the plate in the second. I suppose with Fournier on the bench, really the mantle is falling to Nando Decolo.
Yeah, the trio of Decolo, Bertel and Fournier have been so critical to all of the French wins. Elements of that trio have to perform if France are going to win.
Dragic. Watched carefully by Tupin. Could take good athleticism from Blazic. Shot clock down to 3. He's got to use it for 3. Blazic! What a wild shot.
Yeah, it's interesting. Vidmar's been taken out of the game for Dimets in case of that 4th foul, and you instantly see the change on the Slovenian offense. They don't have as much confidence in Dimets running the pick and roll game with Dragic, and that's where it all stems from. Look for France now to really capitalise on the time Vidmar's on the bench.
Decolo finds Laverne with a right-hand hook, and those are the shots Geoffrey Laverne wants to be making. And it is now a single-digit lead. And good progress for France since half-time.
Yeah, that's the first milestone they will look for with that Laverne hook shot. He'll be happy. That's his 7th point of the game, and France in the ascendancy now. Coach Kokoskov understandably calling a timeout, try and reset things. Vidmar's going to spend some time on the bench. I wouldn't imagine we'll see him much before the closing minutes of this quarter. They wouldn't want to risk him. They want to keep his last 2 fouls for the final quarter. So Dimets is going to have to perform. It'll be interesting to see if Slovenia look to change their offense now, if they look to walk away from the pick and roll and create some action on the perimeter instead.
We had a very good spell of shooting from range in the first quarter. No lack of passion from the French bench. Actually interesting because you voiced out yesterday, Mark, about the number of points coming from the French backcourt, particularly Chel, Decolo and Fournier, but today it's got a lot of points coming from their front court. Diao on 10 points, Laverne on 7, Serafin chipping in with 6 as well.
Yeah, it's been an interesting change, but I think it's partly due to the strength of the backcourt that France are going up against. It's going to limit the production from the French backcourt.
Here is Dragic. For Prepelic. Oh, drains another 3. Every time France makes some progress, Slovenia start to peel away. And you called it, Mark, they changed their offense. They went for the 3-point shot and they executed it wonderfully.
I just don't understand why the French didn't close out harder on Prepelic.
Decolo now with his own 3-point shot. He misses and Doncic gets to the rebound. Luka Doncic now has 7 rebounds today. Averages 7 per game today. One of the top rebounders in the tournament. Now it moves to the corner. Prepelic inside. Dimets right under the rack. Evades Laverne, puts it up and in. Simple shot for Zika Dimets.
Smart move by Dimets, throws the fake to Laverne, gets him in the end, just goes under him. Easy score in the end.
Mertel, almost rudely interrupted there by Anthony Randolph. Dicolo, passing to Diao. Interception, and it's Goran Dragic who steals. Can he do the rest? He gets away from Laverne, he puts it up and in. It's another fast break that's ended in points for Slovenia.
Yeah, it's a poor pass. Diao easily picked off by Dragic, just goes up and under. That's an easy move for Dragic to execute.
18 points now for Goran Dragic. He's having another fruitful day at the office. Laverne. Against Dimets at the other end now. 2-pound with a long two. Goes out. Slovenia taking this game by the scruff of the neck. Their lead back up to 16.
Interesting to see the impact of Laverne coming out of the game with Serafin coming in. Change the dynamic now of the French front court.
Dragic going all the way and then shifting it out, and it's Doncic from the corner, and it's good. More than 40% success from range now for Slovenia. And they're having a party from the perimeter.
Yeah, the French started the third quarter so well. And then the Slovenians have just stolen a march on them from so many different places as well. There you go, Doncic with some acrobatics, losing his footwork. But the French, they must wonder what they need to do. They had a great opening to the quarter, but Slovenia adjusted and changed, and even Vidmar being on the bench for Slovenia hasn't changed the offensive production.
Timeout called by France. They have the three-point success for Slovenia. France haven't made a three-point shot since the first quarter, and even then they only made 2. Slovenia overall made 9.
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's interesting to listen to Coach Kokoskov there. He's talking through more pick-and-roll action, just trying to identify the spot-up shooters that will come out of it. But with defense like that, you don't need the pick and roll. You're going to get easy baskets on the fast break. Poor pass by Diao led to that one.
Slovenia 19 points clear, and will take a remarkable turnaround to see France top Group A now. They would need 22-point swing in the last 15 minutes. Here is Klemen Prepelic surging forward. Reaching the pass back to Dragic. Everyone moves left, clears the court for Dragic to come to the right. The call has gone against Goran Dragic. Arguing his case, the Slovenian captain.
It's always interesting watching them argue their case. It's never going to change a call. Kind of futile.
Dicolo bounce passing to Serafin. Now Diao gets it to his chest. Mertel surging in, he's quick. He fits into small gaps, but he's lost possession this time for France, and Doncic surges coast to coast. Slowing things up. Doncic still in possession. Prepelic available to his left. Randolph over on the far side. Dimets in the centre. Doncic from the elbow. Misses the shot. But recovers so well to swallow up the pass intended for Serafin. Now Randolph will get up to the rack and put it up and in, and one. Slovenia are leaving their best performance until last here at EuroBasket 2017's group phase.
They're in full control now. France are looking a little bit shell-shocked, a little bit in the headlights as Randolph makes them pay with his athleticism. Serafan just doesn't have the foot speed to play that level of defence.
Slovenian bench erupted with praise there after that play. Anthony Randolph looking to add the extra from the line. And makes the shot. It's the biggest lead of the game. If the rest of the groups weren't sure of the Slovenian quality from their 4 previous wins, this result will certainly make everyone sit up and listen. Take note of what is an incredibly well organised Slovenian side, but also incredibly talented.
Yeah, prior to the tournament, the French were one of the hot favourites to go on and win the whole thing. Slovenia were tipped slightly outside of them. You'd have to reverse that now.
Dimets, now Prepelic. Walking past that is out to Anthony Randolph. Janchar wanted it at the top of the mountain, gets it eventually, but there's a foul called in the meantime. Serafan, who rudely interrupted Ziga Dimets.
Yeah, the Slovenian crowd are already in party mode looking at them. They're enjoying what is another impressive performance from their boys on the court.
Green Army. We'll look forward to booking, if they haven't already, their flights to Istanbul. Tupac up the baseline, back to Serafan, and he misses the right-hand hook. It's just not happening for France now due to their initial recovery.
Technical foul now been called on France. Someone from the bench making comments to the officials. Fournier still trying to have a conversation with the officials from half court away. Dragic will go to the line.
Janchar to inbound then, and he finds Anthony Randolph. Randolph set the screen there. Randolph for 3. Knocks it right down, and Slovenia just keep on advancing this lead.
The confidence that must be pulsing through the Slovenian team must be so high right now.
Interception. Not a great pass by Jackson. Prepelic wins the ball for Slovenia. Shaping up to be Slovenia's biggest win of the tournament.
Nick, I need you to explain to me why we spent so long going through the different permutations of this group now. Slovenia unbelievable today.
That's right, most of the permutations were taking into account a narrow French win, but I have to say, even at this stage, with more than a quarter left to play, it doesn't look very likely to happen. Sure, it was good for your mental arithmetic, Mark.
It certainly cleared out some cobwebs, that's for sure.
Like doing a killer Sudoku.
It'd be interesting to see now on Coach Kokoskov starting to rotate his bench and move people around and give people rest and give people different court time, and we'll see some different combinations now on the floor for both Slovenia and France.
Here is Diao. Swallows up the ball, and Slovenia's defence actually in this second half has been as impressive as their offensive end. Just 11 points. Randolph from the corner. Oh, good hustle in from Vlatko Jančar.
You'll see him run such a distance, good timing on the jump. No one stepping his way, either Serafin or Dio should have stepped across the path of the offensive rebounder.
Great hunger and desire shown by Chanchal there, and a nice touch as well to pop it in. Diao for three. Oh, that's nice. Looked very relaxed as he released the ball there, big Boris Diao. Here is Alexei Nikolic. Randolph comes in to the lane and draws the foul. Looking faces on the France bench.
Yeah, we've seen those expressions a few times this week here in Helsinki from the French team. I think the frustration stems from they know how well they can play. The talent in that roster is unreal. They've just not strung it together as a team at the moment. They've not had consistency. They've not looked in control of many games from start to finish. And I think the Poland game yesterday probably summed it up. They had to wait for 30 minutes to take a game which they were expected to win reasonably comfortably.
Yeah, probably their most complete performance was the game against Greece. Even then in the end, they only won by 8 points, having had a much bigger lead earlier. Here is Jackson, back out, Serafin, good. 50 up for France.
Yeah, Serafin will be happy with his shift so far, 10 points, 4 boards. He's working his way back into international basketball well.
Prepelic. Here is Chanchal to Prepelic again. Screen set, this is from miles out. Shot clock down to single digits. Less than half a minute left in the quarter as well. Prepelic to Randolph. Randolph into Dimets. Dimets has got to release this quick. France will try and make sure this is the last play of the quarter to reduce the arrears somewhat through Antoine Bio. Bio puts it up. This is the shot. There's still time here for Slovenia to get a shot off. It's Prepelic from range. Leaves it well shy. But it's all smiles for Slovenia at the end of the third quarter. They're 26 points clear of France. They've extended their lead further. And this has been a very dominant display from a team who are on a winning run. It's Slovenia 77, France 51, 1 quarter to play.
Yeah, the shooting statistics, they tell you a story. Only 18% from France from outside, 40% from Slovenia from long range. Tells you an awful lot about how this game has gone. Also shooting 71% overall in their field goal percentages. But looking at some of the other stats as well, France have now started turning the ball over an awful lot more often, 12 turnovers in total. But the difficulty when you have playing against Slovenia is highlighted by the bench scoring. Slovenia 28 points from the bench, only 11 points from the French bench. It's a constant wave of onslaught from the Slovenians. No matter who they rotate into the game, they're providing offensive threats, be it from the perimeter, be it driving to the basket, be it back to the basket. And for any team that they face here at EuroBasket 2017, they're going to have to be ready to deal with multiple threats.
Yeah, at the moment, you wouldn't say there's many teams that are capable of beating this Slovenian side. Everything is clicking into place at the right time for them. And the worrying thing is they seem to be getting better as the group phase goes on. As you mentioned, the bench pass, that was a really encouraging sign for them. They've had to do a little bit without Gaspar Vidmar, and France struggling.
Yeah, it was interesting. We've spoken to some of our colleagues from some of the other broadcasters that are here, and they're all trying to work out, well, who do we want to face? I can pretty much guarantee you every other team in EuroBasket is saying, well, how do we avoid Slovenia?
Yeah, understandably so. Here is Vlatko Chanchal. Randolph. Nikolic puts it up with the shot clock dying. And this is, on this occasion, Westerman for France. Moved it to the front court. Fournier's back in.
Yeah, that's the correct decision by the referee. That's consistency. He's called an unsportsmanlike foul. Coach Kokoskov's very frustrated by the call. But to be fair to the official, that's exactly how they've been calling it for the entire week. A reach across where you're not anywhere near the ball. You're not looking like you're trying to reach the ball. There's no effort to steal the ball. Has got to be an unsportsmanlike. The only reason Chanchar fouled him was to stop the transition.
That's what you want from the officials, is consistency. And good to see that's exactly what they've done there, as Westerman makes the first free throw. Well, just talking about who won't want to face Slovenia, we do know, assuming Slovenia don't lose this game from here, that they will face Italy, Georgia or Ukraine. Lithuania currently 12 clear in the final quarter in their game against Germany, which I mean, Lithuania win that group. Germany will finish second. We don't know how the rest of that group will work out until later on today. Dio. Now Westerman into Serafan. Gets up into the lane with a shot clock down to 2, uses it, and it's the two-pointer. As France start the fourth quarter with a 4-0 run.
Yeah, France will be keen to take positives from this game, and Serafan's next step up in the international basketball is a positive they can take.
Nikolic, Chanchar down the line to Randolph. Brings out with a shot. Rebound from Westerman. Fournier shifts it on. Antoine Dio for 3. Touched back in by Westerman. Misses again. And Prepelic now in possession for Slovenia. Return pass there. Nikolic, one of the smallest players on the court. Saw that fly overhead. Shows Slovenia keen to take their foot off the gas here. On comes captain Dragic, and Gasper Vidmar as well returns.
Yeah, it's quite surprising. I didn't expect to see Dragic or Vidmar back in the game.
Doncic is in as well.
Wow, what a change to make. The 3 big hitters for Slovenia all coming back into the game at the same time.
Not the sight you want to see if you're France, down by 22. Dio. Fournier, this is for 3. And yes, gets it to go. France have had a few encouraging starts to quarters. Now it's about trying to keep it going.
Yeah, an impressive 7-0 start.
Dragic throws it up, fouled by Westerman, who's now on 4 fouls. He's only been on the court 8 minutes.
Yeah, Dragic again, just a quick first step, puts Westerman on the back foot. Westerman's having to play defense from behind, which is always going to be difficult, especially against someone as wily as Dragic.
$20 points again for Goran Dragic. The Nikolai Samashko Trophy, really designed for EuroBasket 2017. Slovenia have aspirations to hold it aloft at the end of the tournament in Istanbul. Fournier. Now drawn. And the Frenchman, Luric, is the 1P line. 4 fouls now for Luric. Here's a word to he's actually gone for Chanchar. Yeah, confirmation that it's like Chanchar goes up to 3 fouls. Managed their fouls pretty well, actually, Slovenia, in the end. They got a single play on 4 fouls and we're in the 4th quarter. Serafat, bounce pass, Westerman. Can't get it to go, but he does get the foul. Rich first Slovenian on to 4 fouls.
Westerman's kind of been forced into a bit more of a headline role than people were expecting before the tournament. Foul trouble and obviously the injury of Dio prior to the tournament has given him more minutes than expected, and he's worked really, really hard. He's had his ups and downs, that's for sure, but he's put the effort in for his nation.
Muric. Consistency from France. Chelsea perhaps embodied that today. 23 points yesterday, 6 assists today. Just 2 points in the 21 minutes he's been on court. As Laborie switches it up, Dio here, fast break for France. And put up and in by Westerman off the glass.
Very fortunate in the end. No communication between Dio. Westerman wasn't expecting that to come across to him. But Dio gets out fast in the transition, wraps the pass around. It's a little bit behind. Westerman manages to control it and gets the basket.
So Slovenia have called timeout.
Yeah, look at the consistent shooting by Slovenia through the quarters. Mid-20 percentages all the way through there. Sorry, scoring 20s all the way through. And struggling in this final quarter though.
Yeah, by far France's best quarter. Even the return of Dragic, Doncic and Vidmar hasn't halted the slide. Looks like Koskov just wants to reset things.
Yeah, no, not yet. I'd imagine they'll give them 2-3 more minutes to seal this game off from a Slovenian point of view, and then they'll look to remove Dragic, Vidmar and Doncic to the bench and rotate in some of the lower order players in the rotation. They do get 2 rest days though, so they travel to Istanbul tomorrow and rest the following day before they round the 16 game, but the more rest the better.
Doncic inbounds to Goran Dragic. Surrounded Dio and Westerman trying to prevent him getting anywhere. He progresses nonetheless, over halfway. Dragic. Biding his time now, darts forward, inside. Take a pass, Dio leading the transition again. Did enough there to put him off his stride. France not able to make use of the turnover.
Yeah, Dio on the transition, too concerned with trying to draw contact. And then Doncic grabs the rebound and just a tangle of arms often happens in basketball.
Muric takes over. Finds Prepelic. Vidmar. Dragic back to Gasper Vidmar. That old combo not working for once. Westerman. Laborie gets up to the rack and gets in the drop. 13-2 in this final quarter in favour of France.
Yeah, France narrowing the gap by 12 points in this fourth quarter. There'll be a few nervous people within the Slovenian ranks.
Doncic weave away from Dio with a shot clock down to 5. Step back 3. Oh, very nearly. Serafin under the rack to pick up the loose pieces. Fournier now on the front foot for France. Out to Dio. Fast-paced basketball for the French. Good pass from Westerman. Laborie puts it up and in and one.
Slovenia now fully on the back foot with that play. Great passing from Westerman into Laborie. He was going to throw it down with the 2 hands, but Dragic recovers and fouls him. Tries to stop the basket, can't do that. Laborie will go to the line for the extra 1.
Third foul for Dragic in the game. First free throws for Laborie today. First free throw, I should say. And it's no mistake. Doncic to Edo Muric. Uses his big body to stop Dio getting anywhere, but not legally in the eyes of the officials.
No real surprise there. When Slovenia find the pressure coming their way, where do they go? Back to the pick and roll game, get the mismatch. And what's Dio going to do when Vidmar's posting up against him? There's no way he's going to be able to stop him, so he has to foul him.
Muric to Dragic. Well, Fournier is not helping himself out here at all.
That's Fournier's 5th foul. It was a double foul that he called on Fournier and Doncic. I think it was Doncic. Fournier's not happy. I'm not sure if the referee's actually thrown him out of the game as well.
He's had a bit of a bee in his bonnet all game long, hasn't he, Evan Fournier?
Yeah, he has. He's not been happy from the start. Yeah, it looks like Fournier has been thrown from the game. Being escorted now out of the arena. He's still having conversations. Absolutely pointless situation. The French officials just need to get him under control and get him back to the locker room to calm down. Very brave fans leaning over the stand to try and get a high five off Fournier.
It's come at a strange time, really. France are just having their very best period of the game. They're 14 points up in this final quarter. See it off the ball there on the far side.
Yeah, you can. There's just a bit of handbags. I think it's the easiest way to explain it between Prepelic and Fournier. But Fournier's fallen for it, really. Prepelic knows that he can bring Fournier into it. Prepelic, that's his first foul of the game on that double foul. And he knows Fournier's on 4. So, as much as it's not very sportsmanlike, I think Prepelic has done a job on Fournier there.
Officials just conversing before we can get back underway here.
Yeah, they're just trying to clarify the exact sequence of events. So a double foul, I think, was originally called.
Just looking on our screens, Fournier's been downgraded from 5 to 4 fouls. Personals. Just thrown out of the game.
Not too sure. We'll probably need to become clearer after the game. To be honest, in situations like this, it's always difficult to find out exactly where the referees and in what order they've called the fouls and what type of foul they have called.
Anyway, Dragic is waiting patiently for his next free throw, just looking to extend his personal tally beyond the 21 points he's already racked up here today. 8 assists to go with it. This has been another vintage Dragic performance.
Yeah, it's just come up on our stats now. That was just classed as a disqualifying foul. So yeah, it's a straight thrown out the game for Fournier. It's not his 5th foul, just effectively his 2nd technical foul. So he's ejected from the game. So yeah, Slovenia will get the shot and they'll get the ball back on the half now. And what was a promising recovery from France has slightly been snuffed out.
No momentum change perhaps. So we've got 5 minutes to close this game out. Finish top of Group A. This is Prepelic into Vidmar. Does the rest neatly. Here's Leo Westwood. Vidmar into double digits himself now. Hasn't missed a shot in the game. Well, most of them have been from about a couple of yards out.
Yeah, France have gathered some real momentum at that point of the game for the Fournier disqualification. Just wonder if they can get up ahead of steam again and then attack back into this 15-point lead for Slovenia.
France shooting 90% from the free throw line today. Mr. Kolo makes his 2nd. 12 points now for Nando de Colo. There's 4 French players actually in double digits. No one higher than Boris Diaw, currently with 13.
Usually you'd obviously be very happy as a coach to see that. The trouble you've got is Slovenia's offensive attack has been unreal. 64% from twos, 38% from outside.
Yeah, that's brilliant work by Klemen Prepelic. And he becomes the fourth Slovenian to reach double digits. Picture starting to become a bit clearer in the knockout phase. And Lithuania 15 points clear of Germany in the final quarter there. There's Prepelic. A little combo play with Vidmar, out wide for Muric, down the baseline to Gasper Vidmar, and Gasper Vidmar does what he does. Puts it up and in off the glass, simple two. 12 points now for Vidmar. 6 out of 6 from the field.
Yeah, Vidmar provides an all-round threat on the offensive end for Slovenia. He's averaging 8.3 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 3.8 assists. A real linchpin of all that Slovenia try and do.
Another 2 free throws made by Decolo. It's the high scorer for France. Comes Vincent Poirier. Serafin goes off, and Thomas Hurtel much today, at least in the second half. He's back in play for Antoine Diop. Doncic.
Yeah, I won't imagine it'll be long till we have wholesale changes for Slovenia either. They'll look to rest their stars.
Well, still well up in this fourth quarter. So he took the first by 6, the second by 11, the third by 9. But it's 11 points more for France in this last quarter. Now 10. So he's clawing it back, looking to finish on a high here at what has been a remarkable phase tournament for their country. Westerman. Decolo. Now by Vidmar. I'll take Vidmar to within 1 foul of departing the game.
Yeah, it's a smart move by Decolo. Looks to split the defenders as they switch on him.
And 2 from 2 for Decolo. Big free throws taken. Big successes for Decolo. France very impressive from the line today. But in other areas they have struggled. As Dragic calls Vidmar. Give him some space, but isolation against Louis Labeyrie. Doncic from way downtown.
And it doesn't reduce the passion within the French team either. Straight away, Poirier into a battle with Vidmar. Vidmar, great positioning for a big man. As soon as he can seal Poirier out the way, what can do, Poirier can only foul him. Beautiful skills by Vidmar.
Nice little welcome to the game for Vincent Poirier. Goodball makes the second of his free throws. Slovenia still be eyeing up 3 figures. Urchel. To drop it into Poirier. Comes off Dragic. France with possession. 11 seconds to use it.
Yeah, it's interesting to see both teams trying to run structured offenses all the way through to the end. They're using this as preparation for their knockout phase games in Istanbul now.
Urchel. Doncic just wanted it more than everyone else. His 9th rebound in the game.
Good pressure by France.
They've won the ball back. Labaree throws it away.
And that kind of sums out, I think, France's group phase. A moment of genius, great pressing defense. They steal the ball, you're excited, you're expecting so much. And then quickly that's diffused by a mistake from Labaree.
Standing ovation from the Slovenian supporters. Goran Dragic takes a seat. It's been another memorable day for him. 22 points and 8 assists.
Yeah, it's been a big week for Dragic. That's probably the last Helsinki you'll see of Dragic in EuroBasket. Obviously his last ever EuroBasket. He'll be happy with his first phase of work for his national team.
Of course, Slovenia eyeing up the latter stages in Istanbul. And Dragic will play a massive part, you would think, for the country. Doncic with 4 on the clock here. Fouled by Nicolo.
Yeah, it's interesting as well because you'll find very few players like Dragic where you speak to the majority of basketball people, fans and people within the media. From a neutral's perspective, he's one player you really want to see with a medal around his neck before he retires.
Slovenia still eyeing up their first ever EuroBasket medal. But there's no question they have ambitions to get to the podium in Istanbul, and they are setting it up nicely at the moment. Called the changes. We've seen Dragic come out now, Doncic as well. It's the first side of Maric Rebec today.
Great from all the Slovenian players as well. Vidmar Dragic and Doncic taking out the game, giving praise to the travelling Slovenian fans in the crowd.
Been well supported all week. Labaree. All of the nations represented here in Group A have been well supported. Special mention to the Icelanders. At one stage of the tournament brought a whole 1% of their national population to the Helsinki. Rebec pings a pass out, nicely worked. Prepelic sees his ball jar in the iron.
That kind of pass from Rebec deserved to be hit. Such a bullet pass and such precision, exactly where Prepelic wanted it, so he didn't have to bring it down to shoot.
Rebec steps back for the 3. It's going to be a shot clock violation, and Maric's effort ruled out. Got towel round his head. Maybe in a week or two, another medal. Nicolo, jump shot 2. Misses. Labaree with a rebound. Puts it back out to Westerman. Nicolo with Hertel to his right. Now goes to the point guard. And that's put up and in. For 2 more for France. Confirmation from Group B. Lithuania have beaten Germany by 17 points. That makes Lithuania the winners of Group B and Germany the runners-up. We'll work out the rest of the group as the day goes on here. But that does mean the winner of the game between Poland and Greece, which immediately follows this game here in Helsinki, will be facing Lithuania in the last 16 in Istanbul.
It's a big ask for either of those teams. They've obviously got a big game ahead of them coming up shortly, so their minds won't be on that one. But whoever does progress will be facing a Lithuanian team who haven't lost since the opening game of the tournament.
Yeah, they had that shock defeat, didn't they, to Georgia. And then they've come back very, very strongly since. Another team that other groups will be wanting to avoid. Westerman, up it goes, and Poirier couldn't finish the job in terms of the score, but he does draw the foul. He's going to the line for 2.
Yeah, the French will look to regroup now. They'll try and take some positives out of what they've done in Helsinki, but I think more important for them is to take their lessons learned as they move forward into the knockout phases in Istanbul. An awful lot of lessons to take from what they've done so far. Came off the hand of Decolo. Slovenia will get the ball back now. France not letting the last few seconds roll out. They're going to press Slovenia all the way through it.
Here's Laborie to Urchel. Surging up towards the rack. Releases Laborie. Clemens came in from nowhere, but it's a foul.
Laborie's been an interesting prospect in this tournament. Different style French player, very wiry, very athletic, and not short of some hustle.
Norwich inbounds. Slovenia moving it quickly. Here's Klemen Prepelic. Still looking to finish on a high here, the Slovenians. Although they are not going to win this 4th quarter.
Demets will go to the line now after that foul from Poirier off the ball. It's going to be a long 23.7 seconds if we continue in the fouling spree that we have.
Maybe Slovenia will still get to triple digits.
But it's been a great week of basketball for Slovenia. They've really shown exactly what they can do and the class that they have throughout their roster. For France, it's been an up and down affair. They absolutely have the ability to light up EuroBasket 2017.
Westerman looking to finish with an alley-oop. Poirier didn't manage to quite finish.
But do the French have the ability to string it for 40 minutes, keep their heads in the game?
Well, question marks over France, but Slovenia have recorded a perfect record in the group phase here in Istanbul. They put France to the sword now. 5 wins out of 5 for Igor Kokoškov's team, and they will be full of confidence heading to the final stages of EuroBasket 2017. Finishes in Group A. Slovenia get top spot. We now know Finland will finish second in this group, and France third. The full-time score: Slovenia 95, France 78.
An all-round strong performance from Slovenia, scoring across the board, winning the rebounding battle as well. France did well to move the ball well. Neither team will be overly concerned with their turnovers. It really just was the shooting percentages of Slovenia were off the charts, and France struggled to stop them. In particular, Dragic, what a display again. 22 points, 8 rebounds. Doncic, 9 rebounds from the shooting guard position. And Decolo with 16. France will be happy that they had 3 other players in double digits as well. But they won't be happy to come away with the loss.
Well, you look at the big game, big name players for Slovenia, and once again they've stepped up to the plate. You picked out Klemen Prepelic beforehand, 14 points for him. Doncic 15, Dragic 22, and of course notable mention as ever for Gaspar Vidmar with 13 points. Look at the celebrations. They are just starting. Slovenia have got the job done here in Helsinki, but they will feel it's just a job half done at this stage.
Yeah, and you can see it by their celebrations. It's something for the fans. They want to join in with the fans and enjoy, you know, job well done. But it literally is part one of the job. The big challenges now will come when they get to Istanbul, and that Slovenian army that's in the crowd, the green wave that we can see in the crowd, is going to grow an awful lot in Istanbul, because I imagine the media coverage and the hype around Slovenia will be growing, and the bars across Ljubljana will be absolutely rocking over the next few weeks if Slovenia make it to the latter stages.
It's the last chance to watch Goran Dragic in the national team shirt as well. It'll be very, very special if he does finish with a medal. A long way to go yet. We don't quite yet know who Slovenia's opponents will be in the last 16 phase. We do know they're in the same half of the last 16 as Spain, which will be tough if they do end up being beaten against them. We do, however, know that France will face Germany in the last 16. And Mark, how do you see that one going?
It's an interesting one, but if you were to say it before the tournament, I think you probably have France as actually the higher seeded team. However, France will now come out third, Germany will come out second from their group. So, you know, on paper, Germany will be the higher seeded team. That's a really difficult one to call. Germany have had probably, you know, better performances than were expected pre-tournament. They've had some standout players. Schroeder's had a big tournament so far. But really, again, it's going to come down to which France turns up. If it's the France that's this full flow, fluid, beautiful team basketball dominated by their backcourt trio, then I don't think Germany have the firepower to stop it. However, if that doesn't click and it's the stuttering France, Germany, they should come away with the win.
Okay, folks, that concludes the first game of the day on an action-packed Wednesday in Helsinki. France have been beaten soundly by Slovenia, who put 95 points past them. It's confirmed now Slovenia are top of Group A, 5 wins and not a single defeat from the group phase here. And France with a 3-2 record. They go through to Istanbul, but they go through in third place, and they'll face Germany in the last 16. And it also means that Finland finish second in this group ahead of the Nordic derby tonight when they face off against Iceland. But we'll wrap things up there, and you can enjoy a few of the highlights from this game. Slovenia 95, France 78 is how this game finished.
We the women.